the alluring best friend of my girlfriend. It was the third weekend since we started dating. My girlfriend decided it was time for me to meet her best friend, ostensibly to vet me. Halfway through dinner, while my girlfriend was in the restroom, her best friend suddenly gazed at me with tender eyes, her fingers lightly brushing over the back of my hand, and whispered seductively, "Shall we exchange WeChat?" My girlfriend and I met through a blind date. At first glance, her profile instantly captivated me. She was 28, a freelance model. In her photos, she was tall, with fair skin and an outstanding presence. Her figure was perfect, accentuated by a fitted professional skirt suit, and her long legs in black stockings were utterly mesmerizing. "This girl is very popular. Her dating schedule is booked until next month," said the matchmaking agent, who had seen countless clients and immediately recognized the heat in my gaze. "Moreover, she has very high standards for her partner," she emphasized, particularly stressing the word very. As a seasoned player in the dating scene, I was confident in my looks. Clearly, the agent was probing my financial status. "Here's my business card," I casually handed over my card. The agent's eyes lit up as she took it. After graduating from university, I joined a major internet company. Riding the wave of the era, with my handsome looks and excellent social skills, I quickly rose through the ranks. In less than 5 years, I was promoted to regional manager with an annual salary of 10 million. Over the years, women had come and gone like a flowing stream around me. The longest relationship lasted half a year, the shortest just one night so brief I didn't even catch her name. When others spoke of not having a girlfriend, they meant being single. When I said it, it meant not having a steady girlfriend. My extensive dating experience made me adept in the romantic arena, but I never wronged any woman who came into my life. 10 days ago, my mother called to say that my cousin had brought a girlfriend home. The girl was gracious and from a scholarly family, and my aunt's family was very pleased, unable to resist sharing their joy with my mother. But to her, this was blatant bragging. "The son of Auntie Jong upstairs, who's your age, already has a child who can fetch soy sauce. Old Wang's daughter across the street has had her second child. Even your high school sweetheart is married. You little rascal, over 30 and still not settled, just like your father back in the day." A moment of silence for my poor dad. The wrath of a menopausal woman is explosive, and her anger was at its peak. The tirade lasted nearly half an hour, filled with frustration and disappointment. She ended by sternly stating that if I didn't bring a girlfriend home for the new year, I shouldn't bother coming back. Hanging up the phone, I was at a loss. After a moment of contemplation, I opened my phone and scrolled through the contacts. Lily, meow meow, meng meng. Sigh, I'm really getting old, I thought to myself. If I didn't see them, I couldn't even remember who was who. Finally, an idea struck me. After some searching online, I decisively dialed the number of a renowned dating website. "Mr. Chi, given your esteemed status, perhaps I can help you upgrade to an SVIP, the agent's words brought me back to reality. I looked up and noticed that after seeing my business card, the agent's gaze had become somewhat flirtatious. Once again, it confirmed that wealth is a man's most important asset. She subtly leaned closer, her ample chest almost imperceptibly nearing me. I could easily see through her little game. A casual glance at her snowy white skin sent a shiver through me. "Ahem, I prefer your earlier demeanor. Please revert to that." I leaned back slightly. Despite her good figure, I had my principles. The agent, caught in her act, looked somewhat embarrassed. "What are the benefits of the SVIP?" I asked, picking up a glass of water to sip, trying to ease the tension. "The SVIP offers one-on-one personalized service, providing you with the most compatible high-quality female profiles. Most importantly, it allows you to jump the queue for dates." "Wait, so I can cut in line?" My eyes lit up as I pointed to the top profile. "Of course, let me check her schedule." The agent quickly tapped on her tablet, her professionalism instantly restored. This efficiency was somewhat impressive. People who are dedicated to their work exude a captivating charm. "This Saturday is available," she said, putting down the tablet, her composure fully regained. I breathed a silent sigh of relief. "Charge it," I smoothly handed over a black card. The agent took it with both hands, beaming. By the time all the formalities were completed, it was already 11. "Mr. Chi, it's noon already. How about I treat you to lunch nearby?" The agent blinked at me. I chuckled inwardly, thinking, could she be any more obvious? Next time, I'll call you when I'm free. Then let me add your WeChat. I can send you highly compatible profiles anytime, and it'll be easier for you to contact me, she said. Glancing at her impressive bust, I silently unlocked my phone. Saturday morning, at a coffee shop. I recognized the girl from her photo at first sight. She was like a princess stepping out of an ice castle, delicate, elegant, with minimal makeup, naturally beautiful. She sat quietly by the window, sipping coffee. Seeing her in person, I felt unexpectedly nervous. For a moment, my heart skipped a beat. In that instant, I suddenly envisioned spending the rest of my life with her. I patted my face and quickly approached. Sorry, I'm late. Are you Mr. Chi Ji? Yes, hello, Miss Rya. I arrived early, worried about traffic. Her clear smile, like a summer flower, struck a chord in my heart. We spent the entire afternoon talking about literature, painting, history, modernity, the internet, and technology. From the coffee shop to her home, I had never imagined meeting someone so spiritually aligned with me. Walking her to her door, I still felt reluctant to part. Although she felt the same, she didn't invite me upstairs. Watching the light turn on the 6th floor, I smiled and turned to leave. By the time I got home, it was already 10 at night. I pulled out my phone to find over 20 unread messages. Following my habit, I started to go through them one by one. Meng, what have you been up to lately? Are you free tomorrow? Can you accompany me to the hospital? I need your help this time, you have to help me. Momo, Chi Ji, I'm getting married. Actually, I still like you deep down. I'll wait for you until 8 tomorrow night. Remember, this is your last chance. If you don't come, I'll really give up on you. The matchmaking agent, Mr. Chi, were you satisfied with today's date? If not, you can come to my place tomorrow to discuss. Mr. Chi, are you resting? Mr. Chi, please contact me when you're free. Are you home? My phone screen lit up with a message from Rya. Yes, just got back. I had a great time today. Rest early, good night. Good night. I immediately regretted sending the reply, realizing I had forgotten to arrange our next meeting. Thinking of Rya, I felt an impulse to plan a future together. For the first time in many years, I considered marriage. The last time I had felt this way was in high school, when I had a secret, passionate romance with the class beauty. But our plummeting grades betrayed us. Under the joint pressure of the school and our parents, the seed of love was ruthlessly crushed. Since then, I had never again thought of spending my life with someone. To have more time to deepen my relationship with Rya, I took a long leave from work. Rya also turned down several modeling jobs. We embarked on an unplanned, free-spirited journey, driving westward across 3 provinces and 7 cities. We watched the sunrise from mountain peaks, chased the wind across grasslands, planted trees in deserts. Our feelings for each other quickly intensified. We naturally held hands, embraced passionately, and kissed without restraint. That night, with a beauty in my arms, we listened to each other's heavy breaths and heartbeats, falling asleep in each other's embrace. The 2-week vacation passed in a flash. Back in S-City, Rya naturally moved into my home, and we began a blissful, carefree life together. Rya went on a photo shoot in another city, expected to last a week and a half. I told her she didn't have to work if she didn't want to. She said, a woman must have her own career. She didn't want to be just an appendage to a man. As I was eagerly planning our future, a girl named Meng reappeared. Chi Ji, she called out to me as I returned home from work on Friday. Seeing her thinly dressed, I hesitated but eventually invited her upstairs. As soon as the door opened, she hugged me from behind, tears streaming down her face. I carefully comforted the girl whose makeup was now smeared, carrying her to the sofa, wrapping her in a blanket, and pouring her a glass of hot water. After a while, she calmed down and slowly recounted her woes. Meng came from a single-parent family. Her father had died in an accident while working away from home when she was young. Unable to bear the hardships, her mother left her with her grandmother and disappeared. Her childhood memories were filled only with her grandmother's presence. She hated her mother for abandoning her. Lacking parental care, Meng grew up introverted. Her poor grades at school earned her no attention from teachers. In 4th grade, a tall, clean-cut math teacher came to her school as part of a teaching program. The teacher, though not particularly handsome, always wore a sunny smile that the students loved. He noticed the lonely Meng Meng and would occasionally talk to her and bring her candies. To Meng Meng, he was like a beam of light shining into her barren heart. Later, the teacher returned to S City and married his girlfriend. Before leaving, he gave Meng Meng an address, telling her she could visit him when she grew up. Feeling abandoned once again, she had to face the darkness of loneliness alone. At 18, her grandmother passed away. On her deathbed, her grandmother told her she would always watch over and protect her from heaven. With her last connection gone, Meng Meng packed her bags and, with the 80 yuan her grandmother had left her, resolutely set off for the city. With her grandmother watching over her from above, she feared nothing. Her primary goal was to see the tall teacher again. How was he now? Was he doing well? Did he remember the little girl with pigtails who used to sit in the corner of the playground? This was the reason Meng Meng came to S City. A girl from the mountains, she was filled with curiosity about the bustling metropolis. She believed that with hard work, she could establish herself. But reality hit her hard. Without education or skills, life was extremely tough. After spending the 80 yuan, she found a job cleaning at a restaurant. It provided room and board and paid 200 yuan a month. She was satisfied, at least she wouldn't go hungry or cold. At night, she would lie in bed, looking at the yellowed piece of paper with the address. Over the years, the address had long been demolished. She asked many people but found no trace of him. But she wasn't afraid. She believed that as long as they were in the same city, they would eventually meet. Later, to earn more money, she started working as a drink salesperson at a bar. 3 years later, we met for the first time, and that's where our story began. Meng Meng had 2 boyfriends. One lasted a year, the other half a year. The first was a handsome, caring man. Lacking paternal love, Meng Meng quickly fell for him. But he turned out to be a scoundrel who spent all her savings before being kept by a wealthy woman. The second was a DJ at the bar. Meng Meng said he was tall, much like the teacher from her childhood. A month after breaking up with Meng Meng, he disappeared, and she discovered she was pregnant. But her current situation made it impossible for her to raise a child. She had few friends in the city and could only turn to me, hoping I would accompany her to the hospital. I asked why she thought I would help. She said my eyes reminded her of her grandmother, and she felt I was sent by her grandmother to protect her. After some thought, I agreed. The next day, at the central hospital, a short-haired doctor with thick glasses frowned as she looked at the test results. "You young people are so irresponsible. How can you treat life so carelessly? If you don't want a baby, take precautions." Hearing the word fetal heartbeat, I saw Meng Meng's face change. "We need to discuss this," I said, leading her out of the consultation room. After a long silence, Meng Meng bit her lip and spoke softly. "Can you lend me some money?" "Sure. I need a lot." "That's fine. I want to keep it." "I understand. I don't want it to end up like me, abandoned by its mother." "I know. I will pay you back." "I know." In the corridor, Meng Meng leaned on my shoulder, trembling with sobs. I transferred Meng Meng enough money to raise the child and then took her home. By the time I got back, it was almost 10. Exhausted from the day's events, I lay down immediately. Opening my phone, I saw Rya had sent me photos of her day's shoot. In the pictures, she was radiant, a perfect 10 in any straight man's eyes. Just seeing her made me feel joyful, as if even the air was sweeter. After reading her messages, I called her. The phone rang twice before she answered. "Did you miss me?" "Of course. And you?" "Not really." "HMPH, have you been out fooling around with other women again?" "How could I dare?" I felt a twinge of guilt as I said this. "Are you free next weekend?" Rya suddenly asked, her tone serious. "Yes, why?" "My best friend wants to meet you." "Since when do you have a best friend?" "My college roommate. She saw our photos on social media and insisted on vetting you. But be prepared, my best friend is a bit." "A bit what?" "Ugly." "Quite the opposite, she's very beautiful." "You're the most beautiful." "Smooth talker." "Not smooth, but my tongue is agile." "You're such a rogue." Rya giggled like a goose. "So what's your best friend really like?" "From what you're saying, she sounds challenging." "I can't really say." You'll see when you meet her. Since when did this girl learn to be so cryptic? After some sweet talk with Rya, I turned off my phone. The thought of spending my life with her filled me with anticipation for the future. On the third weekend of our relationship, I received a dinner invitation from Rya's best friend. The venue was a private residence in the heart of S City, a renowned private kitchen known for its exclusivity and high prices, operating on a referral-only basis and not open to the public. Thus, it was rarely accessible to ordinary people. The last time I was here was half a year ago, hosting an important foreign client. Business banquets here were usually chosen for two reasons: to show high respect and sincerity in collaboration, and for the privacy it offered, as crucial business discussions often needed to be held in confidence. I was surprised that Rya's best friend chose this place. After all, meeting a best friend wasn't a private affair. If it was to show respect, it seemed a bit over the top. Moreover, with so many business discussions happening here, it felt too formal for a personal meeting. This place isn't cheap. What does your best friend do? She must be quite wealthy, I remarked. I'm not entirely sure, but I know she's an executive assistant at a big company, Rya replied. Not simple then. Passing her test won't be easy, I thought to myself, feeling a bit worried. Rya teased me, what's wrong? Afraid to meet the in-laws. On the way, Rya and I bantered and flirted, quickly arriving at our destination. Led by the staff, we headed straight to the dining area. This private kitchen was of high caliber, accepting only one reservation per evening. To ensure the freshness of the ingredients, each dish required at least half a month of preparation. Considering we had only made the reservation last week, this wasn't something money alone could easily arrange. This made me even more curious about this unseen best friend. Following Rya's habit of arriving early to avoid traffic, we were half an hour early. About 10 minutes later, the restaurant door opened, and a tall, beautiful woman walked towards us. Seeing her, I was stunned. She wore a white, form-fitting dress that accentuated her long, straight legs, paired with black stockings, exuding a captivating charm. Her wavy hair swayed gently with her steps, and her delicate, made-up face was simply stunning. Clearly, Rya's earlier concerns were justified. Such a high-caliber beauty was indeed a lethal weapon against any man. However, what shocked me and set me thinking was something else entirely. Xiaoxi, Rya quickly stood up and hugged the woman. This is my boyfriend, Qi, she introduced proudly. Hello, I'm Suyueshi, Rya's college roommate and best friend, the woman said, interrupting my thoughts. What's wrong? Were you stunned by Xiaoxi's beauty? Rya quickly stepped in to smooth things over, noticing my distraction. Hello, I'm Qi, I said, somewhat awkwardly. I'm warning you, don't get any ideas about my best friend. Rya pinched me hard from behind, whispering. I quickly begged for mercy in a low voice. However, our little interaction didn't escape Suyueshi's notice. She smiled slightly, pretending not to see. The kitchen served the dishes quickly. The entire dinner was more relaxed than expected. Suyueshi only asked a few casual, unimportant questions. None of the topics Rya had anticipated came up. Halfway through dinner, as Rya went to the restroom, Suyueshi suddenly gazed at me with tender eyes, her fingers lightly brushing over the back of my hand, and whispered seductively, at WeChat. My heart tightened, thinking it was not good. Sure enough, she remembered. Time goes back to half a year ago. The company arranged for me to receive an important foreign client. In order to show our importance to the client, we set the dinner venue at this private restaurant a month in advance. They were a group of 3, including the client and his life assistant, and a Chinese translator assigned by our competitor's company. The main purpose of the client's trip was to choose a domestic strategic partner from our company and competitors. The client chose the rival company as the first stop for the inspection. Before coming to S City for inspection, the rival company thoughtfully assigned the client an accompanying translator. It should be illegal to do so, but the client acquiesced to this behavior. The result of this trip is self-evident. The company's senior management has basically given up any hope of winning this cooperation. Only I still want to make one last desperate struggle. Due to the delay of the plane, the dinner time that day was changed to 8 o'clock. That was the first time I met her. As expected. During the dinner, I tried to probe the cooperation intention several times, but the client was always evasive and avoided talking. In the end, Tsuyoshi deliberately or unintentionally evaded the question. Halfway through the meal, the client was already drunk and was helped back to the hotel by his assistant. The whole dinner made me extremely depressed. I didn't plan to stay any longer after the client left and got up to leave. Mr. Chi, please stay. Anything else? No, I just think this opportunity is rare. Do you want to sit down and chat for a while? Why, do you want to show off to me what means you used to win the client? After all, we are in the same industry, and we will inevitably deal with each other in the future. She shook the wine glass in her hand and said casually, "This woman is really a witch." I cursed in my heart and sat back. Later we drank a lot of wine again. I can't remember many things. It was a ridiculous night. Later I only remembered that the lips exuded the smell of wine that night. In the early morning, the sun shone through the curtains in the room. The mess on the ground recorded a night of madness. She lay beside me and scratched my chest with her fingertips. I lit a cigarette, expressionless. Half an hour later, I packed my clothes and prepared to leave. The moment she opened the door, she seemed to remember something. At WeChat. Sure. I made a silent gesture with my fingers, and then left. What's wrong? Ayer came back from the bathroom and found that my face was not right and asked with concern. It's okay, my stomach is a little uncomfortable. I felt a little guilty when I spoke. Har har. Tsuyoshi suddenly laughed out loud, and I was so shocked that my heart was raised to my throat. Just tell Ayer the truth. This crazy woman. I cursed in my heart. What did she want me to say, that she and I had? What should I do? I could feel cold sweat flowing down, and I was crazy inside. What happened? Ayer was a little anxious, and her doubtful eyes swept back and forth between us. I clenched my fists tightly and made some decisions in my heart. Chi-ji and I have met before. Hearing this, Ayer's face was full of shock. My face had already turned pale. Tsuyoshi continued to speak slowly. Before, a foreign customer came to inspect and chose between our two companies. Our company used some means to get the project. With this project, we crushed our peers and stood at the top. It's not too much to say that we are far ahead, Mr. Chi. It's okay, it's okay. I thought to myself, picked up the wine glass and took a sip, and breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, so that's it, no wonder you chose dinner here. It turns out that your peers are avoiding suspicion. I felt a little dizzy when I got home and lay directly on the bed. In a daze, I heard Ayer whispering in my ear. No matter what you were like before, you will only belong to me in the future. The longest time was half a year. Obviously she must have read something from my expression. I changed my mobile phone number after that day. I made a complete break with my previous life. But Ayer never asked me why. 3 years later. At the beach. I received an unexpected call. It was Meng Meng who called. She returned to her hometown to visit her grandmother's grave after giving birth to the child. I unexpectedly found that the Toll teacher had returned to the village to teach. It turned out that he and his girlfriend got married after returning to S City. Their married life was plain but happy. But because of the woman's health, they had no children. Many years later, in an accident, the woman unfortunately passed away. For a long time, the man was immersed in grief and couldn't get out. Later, he remembered the village where he and his girlfriend taught together. The man sold everything and returned there. Meng Meng said she wouldn't leave either. She planned to stay there to accompany the tall man. I put down the phone with a smile, feeling extremely calm at the moment. Dad, come here quickly. A girl in a light pink dress and a ponytail shouted at me as she stepped on the waves. I walked over and picked her up, then held hands with Ayer beside me, watching the slowly setting sun and feeling the good years. The whole article is over.